Hello, everybody. Welcome. How are you all? Good. Woo, great. That's awesome. Keep cheering. There's a lot of good things that are going to be happening tonight. We're really excited about it. I'm so pleased everybody's here. Thank you for coming to a poetry reading in Tucson on a Thursday night at the Poetry Center. You made an excellent choice, and I want to remind you of that excellent choice. And so there's lots. This is going to be a special reading tonight, and we're really excited about it. My name is Tyler. I work as the director here at the Poetry Center. I want to shout out the people who work really hard to make readings happen at the Poetry Center all the time. And so my colleague, Paula Valenzuela, is over here. And next to Paula is our friend and a student worker who helps us out named Mars Femi, and Mars is over there as well. Their labor makes the machine go. We're grateful for it, and really excited to be doing poetry readings in Tucson with everybody here. There are some that are coming up, so I want to keep you in the loop about this. We'll have a little bit of a break, and then the readings will start kind of one each week, and there's a stretch that's coming up. So on October 19th, the next poet who will be back here on Thursday night at 7 o'clock is Timothy Donnelly, and then after that, the next week will be the poet Eileen Miles. After that are the poets Adam Davis and Manuel Paul Lopez. After that is Sawako Nakayasu, who's going to be the keynote for the American Literary Translators Association. So she'll be here doing that work, but then also doing a poetry reading on the Thursday night at the Poetry Center. And then after that is the poet Marilyn Chin. So a great run that's coming up. It's starting on October 19th and then each week. So your Thursdays are set. Clear your calendars. We'll see you here each time. You can even write your name on your seat. Don't do that. Mentally do that. And we're excited to see you back for all of those. On Tuesday, October 10th, coming up, we'll be staying. That's a Tuesday night. We'll be staying open a little later at the Poetry Center, and we'll have the opening reception for our new exhibit that's coming up. And that exhibit will celebrate 30 years of Corey Press and Institute. How many of you know about Corey Press? Great, good. If you don't, this is your chance. So this is a retrospective exhibit. It's going to tell the story of the press and the press's work. And it will be, the opening reception will start at 6 p.m. We're going to have a great food spread. It's open to the public. There'll be some remarks from Lisa Bowden, who's been the sort of visionary behind the press for many, many years here in Tucson, one of our most exciting publishing efforts. So that, again, is Tuesday, October 10th, and that's back here at the Poetry Center. The Tucson Humanities Festival is on, and that's happening now. The Poetry Center is part of the College of Humanities. The Humanities Festival is the flagship effort of the college. Many events are happening, but the one I want to clue you into is October 11th. So the 10th, you're going to be here for the reception. The 11th, you're going to be at Centennial Hall. And that night will be the Poetry of Fashion. And so the Poetry Center has helped curate some selections of poems that students from the U of A will be creating ensembles around. There will be a celebrity presence. If you know Project Runway, Tin Gum will be here, looking at the work that is created by the students in honor of these poems. So that's October 11th. There are tickets for that event. You can learn more about it by Googling the Tucson Humanities Festival. It should be a lot of fun. Many of you will have seen that tonight's reading is named the Morgan Lucas Schuldt reading. And this is an annual reading that we've offered at the Poetry Center since 2013, and with the support of a private donor. And we do this to honor emerging and innovative poets and to celebrate and remember Morgan's poetry and honor his life. Some of you here probably knew Morgan personally. And by all accounts, he was a tremendous force in the communities in which he moved. His work constantly calls into question, as a poet, constantly calls into question how language does what it might do, what it signifies and how and why or why not, a kind of lyric logic, and by extension, the relationship to art and experience. He authored 2 books, the books Verge and Eros, and these are both at the Poetry Center. We'd love to share them with you, as well as many chapbooks and pamphlets. And we are deeply proud to honor this reading tonight in his name. To help us welcome the poet who's been here visiting, who will give the reading tonight, is my colleague, Arya Pahari. And I'm excited to have her up here to introduce. If you've been to the Poetry Center recently, you've met Arya at the front desk, where she works as our library specialist, We are so lucky she's there. She's been an incredible hire and a huge lift to all of us at the Poetry Center. If you haven't been to the Poetry Center recently to visit Aria, why? Come visit. She's excited to say hello to you and meet you and to show you all the things that are there. Please help me welcome Aria Pahari.
The revolution is emotional. It calls me. I have to sing it out. One of those lines is from Yanyi's first book, The Year of Blue Water, and the other from his second, Dream of the Divided Field. There are as many ways to interpret a body of work as there are bodies, as there are works. For me, reading Yanyi's books felt like tracing the textured, cyclical routes of self-conception when a life moves into a present life, a transition marked each time by love, lost, sustained, abiding. Yanyi's poems sing of the harmonies and dissonances of a full life, teeming with a multiplicity of beloveds, queer friend, immigrant mother, fellow artist, romantic partner, and the self, inextricable from all of the above. I quote again from Dream of the Divided Field. Where I wept, there was transformation, and I did both before and after I flew through the other worlds. Yanyi is the author of Dream of the Divided Field, published in 2022 by One World Random House, and The Year of Blue Water, winner of the 2018 Yale Series of Younger Poets Prize, selected by Carl Phillips. Yanyi gives creative writing advice at his newsletter, The Reading. It's very good, amazing tips, recommend. And Yanyi teaches poetry at the Warren Wilson MFA program. In 2023, he founded the Asian American Literary Archive. Please join me in giving a warm, ecstatic welcome to Yanyi.
Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you to Paula and Mars for setting up this reading in this space. Thank you, Tyler, for hanging out and being here and doing some really good driving in the Jeep. Aria, it's been wonderful to meet you in person. Aria was in a poetry manuscript class that I taught last year for Asian American poets. And was a wonderful presence there. So it's nice to see where you can merge and converge with people. Also, thank you to Sarah and Julie for hanging out and talking about archives, like a geek squad, but books. It's been really wonderful to be in this space. I love being in and at poetry libraries. If you know my history as a writer, I spent a lot of time at this library called Poets House at the beginning of my writing journey as an adult, and it certainly changed my trajectory from what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. So in honor of the archive, I thought I would read poems in chronological order from the early times to the first book to the second book, and then I'll close with some new poems, maybe plural, maybe singular, depending on the time that my watch is going to tell me. Okay. So this first poem is probably from when I was like 20, so brace yourselves. Brunch. If you are a flower, then you are growing in me gardens. I love your sincerity like Saturday, if it is a flower too, And those mornings I'll bring you bouquets of the weeks, even Monday with its tinny stare and Tuesday's pearls, which radiate in the presence of your orange juice. We abscond into the street for dancing, and in dancing we walk all Paris all over. I look forward to the Eiffels of your kisses. The Eiffels are your kisses. I like them more than space, my love. I love you more than space. Galleries. Galaxies are just hollow dreams peppered with the likeness of your eyes. And when you see me, my words are all a jumble in my mouth. You always help me out. You tell me with the universe how to echo forever. All right, baby Yanyi. And this poem is called The Kiss, probably written 5 years after. The Kiss. I guided these fires from a body of islands, burning and unable to reach each other. Every day of kneading bends the waters closer to the unseen flame who moves to have anatomy, whose sudden heat will open snow's first eyelid to violet iris and pupil stone, like the sprig of air between our cheeks and the whole pink birds first writhing for it. Now I'm going to read one lyric poem from my first book, the Year of Blue Water, and then the rest of the book is a sequence of prose poems. So I won't pause for titles or anything. You'll just get a slightly more dramatic pause in between sections. Dream Diary. You're awake, then you are standing. Then the last thing that you dreamed will unfold its field of memory. What you touch will come to life. A whole room sprung in the backwards words of people untalking to you. Walking reversed with such confidence until you reach another room. There stands this person who is also a talisman. In the dream, it doesn't matter when they loved you. In the dream, when you talk, the butterflies are orange and then blue, and together you lead the rabble to the square where you touch this person and then leave them. And on cue, a flock of pigeons will soon want nothing but to return to you. And on cue, the cedars become green and then stone, this person unmaking love from you and placing the pieces elsewhere, again, on earth. Until before that, until the somewhere else before you agreed to move. Then you are language, too. Backwards words unstuck to the dream as the dream began to happen. And the ghosts inside the many rooms rustle nude inside the blue water. And the ghosts inside the many rooms illuminate the many walls. I'm working on being alone today. It's the new year. I start with drunk dreams and then text to Diana about carrying our homes with us. I think about who I want to write letters to. Joe, Catherine, Mary. It comforts me to write letters. They remind me that there is someone listening on the other end. Likewise, I have received writing that felt made for me. People who are dead want to talk to me. I'm writing. I invite you to my life. Doreen and Lizen are generous. They want to know about me. We spend most of the afternoon talking about the things I've been thinking and the life that I live. In fact, I like it. It seems so selfish to want to be known. What I also mean to say is that I recognize the focus. The impulse to know someone else before you reveal yourself. The impulse to know someone else because you have never been asked to reveal yourself. The impulse to know someone else because otherwise you do not know yourself. The impulse to know someone else because you are self-conscious of your whole self, the one that fills up too many rooms, so much space. The impulse to hide how much space you need. Well, that's not exactly right. There is relief in seeing another person being happy, Being happy makes it possible for that other person to love someone. In my case, I want another person to be able to love me. There are places I can't go, like outside my body. For a long time, I was attached to she, her as my pronouns, even when I was non-binary. They didn't seem as sharp as I wanted it to be, and I like precision. Diana tells me that to be trans or non-binary is not to be a woman, but to be of women. That seems a more useful gesture. I never want to disappear unequivocally into masculinity. Womanhood is the country I come from, a home I reach back for to reproduce, recreate, replenish. It was graduation, and I had already said goodbye to so many people. Everyone else had plans and family to attend to, so we were alone. It was supposed to be a proud moment, but my thing, my life, had ruined it. At the time, I owned a small collection of Oxfords, undoubtedly masculine. Before she came, I hid them in a bag that I didn't move to my new apartment because I knew she would find them there. For 2 days, I wore shoes with no arch support. On the third day, I wore my brown Oxfords to be comfortable. No one looks at anyone's shoes. For the rest of the day, we were at the museum, and all she could talk about was my shoes. At the foldable table in my new apartment, she asked me if I was gay, which I told her 10 years ago, but she didn't believe me. She asked me if I was gay, and I didn't say anything, but I cried. She threw away the shoes, and then we had dinner. When I did the dishes, I had to empty the rice onto my shoes, and I never saw them again. She had hit me many other times. Other times, she would pinch me hard, but never enough that it bruised. When she kissed me, it was just as hard and just as long. When did I become repulsive? Repulsion is a feeling that you can direct to your own body, but someone has to teach you first. She tells me that she feels guilty for giving birth to me. What I am, I've gone further than gambling, drug addiction, death. I've killed the image of her daughter. I tell her she must feel so much pain that I understand what she's going through. Then I hang up. Form gives space for something to exist. You have to dig in yourself to find what you'll put in it. Places you don't know appear. Poems are a way to ask for what exists, to invite what wants to be visible. Originally, this was a poem, or actually, this was a book about unspoken desire, the knowledge of bodies forbidden to us. I never thought about it in relation to myself. I've been denied my own body. Of course, this book has always been about me. But what I recognize now is that I have desire, that I want to be wanting. I feel a burp coming on, so I'm like, the long pause will be a little bit more dramatic. This is what happens when you take me to dinner. It went back inside. Just like you. Oh, thank you. That was actually the poem. My mother tells me something. This is a really depressing sequence to have that interrupt. My mother tells me something. Has she been lonely? There was so much I couldn't see as a child, and then it was too much to try and save her, to help her feel better and feel a little less lonely. I felt like I failed at loving her. I felt like I failed at saving her from loneliness. As a kid, you can't know that this isn't your job. As a kid, You can't know that the people you love can live and die for completely other reasons. Check the time. Doing okay. You tell me that the old you is dead. I am also not who I used to be. The revolution is emotional. I found a reason to not fear death. I found more reasons to live, reasons to change what is living inside me and around me. The revolution is that I care about my own safety, that I believe my life is valuable and worth pursuing. As in, I'm worth the work of transformations. As in, I do not fear how I will emerge from myself or how many times. Even though I didn't know M very well, I am also grieving. I don't feel like I'm allowed to grieve for someone I didn't know well because we're asked to choose who we invest in. We're asked to choose who is worthy of love. M lived in my community. I saw her every so often at parties, dinners, movies. I love my community, and therefore I love her. So of course I am grieving. It is justified to love another human being for no reason. My friends know how she lived, and they will live instead. When she was alive, she lived with my friends. Together they made all kinds of life, and now she lives in their lives and can live with me. Imagine every day you wake up to wild commitment. Wild as in not the same place, but the moving place, playing place, changing place. When I write through my happiness, I commit to it again. I commit to feeling deeply not what happiness I have, but how I came to orbit around it, attract it, cherish it. I fall asleep and wake up. If there's a thing I want to teach me, it's how I live my light. I've been writing to women, women of color, queers, gentle queers, spectra, crystals, animals. I want fame with you. I don't want to be famous. Let's redo what it means to be famous. I'm famous because I am in search like you. I have been writing for you. I have been writing for myself. I too want to be familiar. What else could famous mean? Okay. Last night, I had a dream about giving a speech on art. I had no notes and felt awash with calm. Why is art necessary? The first line ran, and nothing was easier to answer because it was so unanswerable. It occurs to me that an answer would have ended my speech, and what I wanted was to ask something repeatedly, to spend my life on continuing the question. It is a certain life and not its answer that is worthy of being repeated. Invitation, invocation, request. And this is the last poem in the book and then the last one that I'll read in this book. You are still held captive here. Of all the things I have done, I'm most proud of our relationship, of picking up the pieces, of investing in each other again and again. I am proud to trust you despite the pain of trusting that lives in me every day. In every way, I was raised to kill this, the impulse to build and protect a place where you and I can live as ourselves. And not just live. When I hear you on the phone, there's always something else going on. Something's happened that will change you or change me. And it's not those moments, but ourselves that we share with each other. Not out of necessity, but abundance. And now I'm gonna hydrate. Because I've discovered that while here in this desert where I do not sweat, I just need water a lot. So this is from my second book. I'm going to read a sequence of poems. They all do have titles. Hi. I know you're taking your paparazziing. Just like Lady Gaga saying, so many years ago, vintage. Okay, so this poem is called Coming Over. So this book was really about some intense heartbreak for me. But I'm, happily in a relationship now. And since I'm so happy, I've been thinking a lot about death. So this is a poem about death, but hopefully a nice one. Beginning of Spring, working title. It's always a working title. You'll see it somewhere with a completely different name one day. When I see my death, it is with you, hunched over vines perfected over many summers. We have asked these tomatoes to be ours. The early peonies and tight bulbs have their heads in flames. In this garden edged with winding paths, I follow through to the curves you have. Your face is forever a map I read back to myself. I have made for you, while I still could, everything I wanted to, knowing that a time would come when the mouths of grass enclosing me will house beetles making purple irises. The bread's cut open on the cutting board. Your paintings are watching from the walls. My notebook is open on the table to this sentence, half finished, laid out with sweet air gone out in one direction. Thank you.
One more round of applause for Yanyi. Thank you. There are lots of books for sale. I want you to come up and buy as many as you can, and then come and have Yanyi come sign them. We're really pleased to have everyone here. All of those events that I mentioned are all on the calendar, so if you want to stay up to date with what's happening, you can grab one of these as you go. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you next time.